This is the annotation video for reproduction PP3. Base your answers to questions 1 through 3 on the diagrams to the right and on your knowledge of biology. The diagram below represents a structure necessary to the fetal development of a human and a typical animal cell. So let's take a moment to analyze what we have here. We have a structure that we learned about in reproduction, and we also have some animal cells, or an animal cell with some organelles that are identified. All right, question 1. Which of the following substances is not exchanged through the structure labeled X? So again, we're going to look at the directions, and it says not. So this means we are looking for something that is false. Okay, so we're also looking for structure labeled X. That is this structure. So look in your notes and indicate what is the name of that structure. Well, if we look in our notes, we notice it is called the placenta. Now I want you to look in, we can use the cross-out strategy and eliminate 2 or 3 options. We're looking for things that you can cross out something that is exchanged, and the answer is something that is not exchanged. All right, question 2. Which of the following describes a function of the structure labeled X? Well, when we see the word function, we know that that is its job. And again, the labeled X, that is the placenta. So look through your notes and figure out what is the function of this structure. I am going to go through and use the cross-out strategy. And I'm going to look at the first option, provides milk for the fetus. First of all, we don't drink milk until we're born, okay? And the milk comes from the mother's breast. That is not correct. Why don't you try crossing out a word or phrase in one of the other options and then indicate your response. Question number 3. An organelle that performs a function similar to that of the structure X is represented by which letter? Well, before we do that, we should identify these organelles. I have organelle A looking up here. Organelle A represents the, it is the cytoplasm. And it's your job to look in your notes to figure out what that means or what that does. Letter B is the mitochondria. Option C is the nucleus. And letter D is the cell membrane. So again, which one performs a similar function to that of structure X? And remember, structure X is the placenta. All right, we're going to move along. Base your answer, or base your response to questions 4 and 5 on the information below and on your knowledge of biology. Reproductive hormones are secreted by the placenta during pregnancy. One of the hormones, progesterone, maintains the uterine lining, prevents the uterus from contracting, and temporarily stops the release of eggs. So we indicated here a hormone, progesterone. Question number 4. Which of the following refers to another female reproductive hormone? All right, we are going to look for a female reproductive hormone. I am going to use the cross-out strategy, and I am going to eliminate one of the responses. I know that one of the answers is not testosterone because that's found in the male. That's the symbol for male. Now, between B, C, and D, eliminate another option using the cross-out strategy. And then select your response. Question 5. Which of the following scenarios could occur if the placenta was damaged? A. The mother would die from toxic shock. B. The fetus would stop development completely. C, the fetus could be born prematurely. Or D, the fetus develops normally without any complications. Now, when we look at the placenta, it is a structure that provides nutrient and gases, or nutrient and gas exchange. Okay, so this is to help the fetus or the embryo, depending on how old it is. Option A, the mother would die from toxic shock. Let's use the cross-out strategy. Let's look at all of these options. I'm going to say the placenta is important, so I'm going to look at option D. I don't think the placenta is going to develop normally. Okay, something bad will happen. We just have to figure out what it is. So I eliminated option D. It's your job to use the cross-out strategy to eliminate another option and then indicate your response. Question 6. Which of the following indicates a major function of the placenta? Remember, the placenta is, I said it before, it's for nutrient and gas exchange. Okay, so A, it permits the fusion of molecules between maternal and fetal blood. B, it stores food and nutrients for the fetus. C, it provides protection for the fetus while the mother moves. Or D, it provides support for the egg during fertilization. We are definitely going to use the cross-out strategy for this. And I'm going to look at D. First of all, the placenta is formed much later than fertilization. So the placenta forms after that, so we can eliminate D. Now between A and B and C, eliminate at least one other option using the cross-out strategy, and then indicate your response. Question 7. If a pregnant woman smokes, the nicotine in the cigarette smoke can narrow the diameter of her blood vessels that lead to the placenta. Which of the following best explains why narrowing blood vessels can lead to low birth weight in babies? Well, let's look at the options. A, the blood vessels will be too small to let any blood or nutrients pass through, and the fetus will stop developing immediately. B, fewer nutrients and oxygen will pass from the mother to the developing fetus, reducing the ability of the fetus to grow properly. C, the blood vessels will be too small to let any blood or nutrients to pass through, so the mother will have to take vitamin supplements to ensure proper development of the fetus. Or D, fewer nutrients will be able to pass from the mother to developing fetus, while the waste products will continue to leave, resulting in a loss of weight. I'm going to indicate something here. We have some indication, and this is something I'm going to provide for you, because what's in the blood, we have two things. We have oxygen and we have glucose. Oxygen is the gas that's necessary, and glucose is necessary for respiration. So when you have narrowing blood vessels, that means you're going to have less oxygen and less glucose. Now, looking at our responses, let's indicate something right now. I'm going to use a cross-out strategy. Option A says the blood vessels will be too small to let any blood or nutrients to pass through. If you see any blood or nutrients, that's going to cause the death of the baby, of the fetus. So I think this is a little bit too severe. So I'm going to cross this part out because that's not going to happen. It might slow it down, but it's definitely not going to stop it completely. Unfortunately, some women do smoke when they are pregnant. It's not advisable, but it is something that does happen. And the baby's not going to die immediately, but it definitely will be affected in some way. Okay? So Eliminate another response using the cross-out strategy, and then choose your answer. Number 8. One complication during pregnancy occurs when the placenta detaches from the uterine lining. This disruption can sometimes lead to the death of the fetus. Which of the following explains why detachment of the placenta can lead to fetal death? Okay. Option A. The placenta provides oxygen and nutrients to the fetal blood. B. The placenta provides milk for the developing fetus. C. The placenta delivers blood from the mother to the fetus. Or D. The placenta digests waste from the fetus. What this question is asking us for is basically you're indicating what is the function. What is the function of the placenta? And I'm going to use the cross-out strategy to eliminate something. The placenta is definitely not providing milk. We've established that. There was a question before, so that option B is not the correct answer. Use the cross-out strategy, eliminate another answer, and select your response. Question 9. Which of the following correctly describes 3 functions of the placenta in humans? A. Respiration, nutrition, and excretion. B. Nutrition, excretion, and reproduction. C. Coordination, movement, and growth. D. Movement, reproduction, and nutrition. Well, I'm going to indicate something again. Placenta, it provides nutrients and gas exchange. It's a little sloppy the way I wrote it. Not once did I say anything about, I'm going to use the cross-out strategy. It definitely doesn't talk about movement. Okay, so we're going to eliminate C and D. So between A and B, choose your best response. Question 10. The diagrams on the right represent structures within the female and male reproductive systems. Within which structure does the placenta develop? So here we have the female and we have the male. So I know right now the placenta develops in the female. So automatically I know I can get rid of, using the cross-out strategy, I can get rid of option H. Because option H is the bladder in the male. So use the cross-out strategy to eliminate another one and choose your best response. Thank you.